Let's talk about developing your habits. The reason I'm talking about this today is because I just read a passage in BJ Fogg's book, Tiny Habits, that reminded me of an idea I picked up years ago. That idea is this: you should develop your habits because in moments of weakness, you're going to fall back on those habits. The problem is, most people haven't sat back and thought, what are my habits? Too many people, and I'm still a recovering addict myself, are addicted to negative self talk. Meaning when everything's working out perfectly, your marriage is going great, your kids are doing fantastic in school, whatever it might be, your life is rolling along that happy go lucky path and you're feeling solid about everything. Isn't it easy at that point to talk nicely to everybody, think positively, have a bright outlook about the future, feel like everything's going to be joyous and perfect, right? That's easy. But what happens when you hit a crisis? That's when your habits kick in. If you haven't thought through who you are as a person and how you talk to yourself inside your mind, what usually occurs is when something bad happens, you begin the negative self talk. You might say, I'm no good. I'm worthless. Things were going great there for a while, but I knew the other shoe was going to fall. I always end up doing something wrong. Just no good. Did you realize that for most people on this planet, that's what they think all day long? So, what I want you to focus on right here is you need to start developing your habits. In my opinion, the best habit to start with is the self talk. Start changing your self talk so that in moments of weakness, in the moments of life crisis, you can look ahead and say, okay, yes, this happened, but I'm on the correct path. I'm on the path towards success in my life, however you define that success. It doesn't have anything to do necessarily with money or anything else from a physical or tangible perspective. Success really is what makes you happy inside. So obviously, you first have to sit down and work on that, figure out what your purpose is and why are you here, that kind of thing. But what I want to focus on right now is this: you've got to train yourself and train your mind so that when the bad things happen, and the funny thing is, when you train yourself properly on this, the bad things don't happen anymore because you'll learn how to not look at anything as bad. Good or bad, they just are. But if you're right now stuck in that negative self talk concept, you have to, and I'm going to say when things go bad, because that's possibly how you're thinking about it, you have to train yourself. And the way you do that is you read the correct books, you listen to the correct audios, you watch the correct videos. I'm not going to go over anything specific on that in this moment because there is so much personal development information available to us in our time. There are plenty of personal growth books you can go and take a look at, audios and videos that you can find on the internet to help you focus on how to think properly. If you need a quick kickstart on it, though, just consider Googling BJ Fogg, Napoleon Hill, James Clear, or Tony Robbins. That's a good start. But as you develop a mature way to talk inside your mind, what starts to happen, which is pretty cool, is when you hit a little hiccup in life and things don't go quite as you had planned, you can easily keep the positive self talk going, looking for the good in the situation. Okay, because there's always good in a situation. Even something you perceive as being terrible and awful, if you really look, there was a reason for that. How many times have you gone through a situation and 6 months, a year, or two later, you look back and say, well, when I was going through that, it was pretty terrible. But now I can see why it had to happen. It changed me in this particular way in order to set myself up to be where I am today. It changed my thinking. It changed who I am. It changed my outlook on life. I'll give you a quick example from my life. And by the way, my prayer today is that my ideas here are helping you in a meaningful way. And if you've picked up something valuable already, would you take a moment and just demolish that like button? It does help me get this message out to people I wouldn't get it to without your help. And I would be honored if you subscribe to my channel. Again, helping me reach others with this message while making sure you're the first to know when I do put new content up here. Okay, so here's an example from my life. When I was 16, my dad got a new job in a city about 3 hours away from my friends, my entire teenage life. I went into my junior year of high school angry at the world. By the time I graduated high school, I looked back at the situation and I did see the good in it. Prior to that experience, I lived a pretty easy life. This was in the 80s when the latchkey kids started to rise in number. I would say that a good 99% of my friends lived in broken homes with only their mom or dad around. I just one or two parent. And plenty of times, neither their mom or dad was around when we got out of school. And funny enough, all my friends, they love to come to our house. And I came to understand that they yearned for the loving two-parent environment that they saw at my house. My dad was a teacher. My mom was a nurse at a nearby school. So their schedules matched the schedule of my brother and I perfectly. They were always around, always supportive, always loving. But I had never really faced adversity at that point in my life when we moved until that year, 1987, when we moved away from all that I had ever known. I'm an introvert. As an introvert, I need time to adapt to change. I don't enjoy chaotic situations. But ever since that experience where I was uprooted, literally, from everything I had ever known, I'm now better at handling that stuff through that experience. But I didn't handle it well that first year. I was angry, and I let everyone around me know it. My mom and I still laugh to this day about how I was during that year, although she didn't enjoy it during that year. I didn't care about making new friends. I quit playing football. I just went inside myself. But over time, I came to understand that the bad situation ended up being a good one. It made me stronger. It helped me become independent and find a new strength from within myself. One that I later used as I started building a business, adversity, and had to keep chugging along even when I felt like a failure. So I want you to start focusing on this idea of looking for the good in the bad. Teach yourself to strengthen your resolve and develop stronger personal development habits. You've got to do this if you want to get to where you want to go in life. And when I'm talking about positive thinking, let me end with this. I'm not talking about fake it till you make it. I'm not saying to act as if you're feeling great even when you're not. Somebody says, "How you doing?" And you say, "I'm doing fantastic." Well, you know deep down inside that you're lying to yourself. It's not a true emotion. You're not going to bring yourself up out of the pain and into joy just by saying some words. You've got to learn how to get authentic, positive emotions flowing through you. It's a developed skill for many people. So to see things go wrong and then look at the situation in a positive manner, see the good, and continue on towards your main goal, your chief aim. Now consider this. If you're feeling any emotions like revenge, anger, discouragement, hatred towards something or someone, you can't go from those emotions and immediately go to passion, joy, or enthusiasm. But you can bring yourself up a little bit from that level of the emotional scale. Maybe you can just go do something you enjoy and it brings you up to feeling more like doubt or disappointment, or maybe feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And then maybe you move up a little bit higher and you feel a little frustration or irritation, maybe then boredom. And then eventually, as you continue moving up the emotional scale and looking at the good in the situation, stop focusing on the negative and don't even allow yourself to think the negative. All of a sudden, you might become hopeful. Oh, I guess there's a chance here for me to get to where I want to go. Now you're getting optimistic. Then you start expecting the positive. You start getting some belief in yourself that things aren't as bad as maybe you thought they were, that there's a way out of this, and that there was some good in the situation. It changed you. It helped you in some way. Then you start feeling enthusiasm and some eagerness towards the future. You feel happy. You start feeling passionate about what you're doing. And then you get to that level of joy, feeling empowered that you can change your life, that these outside events don't affect you in any way. How you think, what your mind is going through, how you interpret the events. You start feeling empowered, which brings freedom, which brings appreciation, which brings love. And when you can feel love towards yourself and towards your situation and towards your life, you can feel love towards others, those people around you. And when you can do that and treat people the proper way because you're treating yourself the proper way, you can help make this place, this world we live, a much better place, a much happier place for those people around you, your family members, your friends, your coworkers. And they start to look at you as someone they can learn from. They start to look at you as someone that gives them hope, that helps them have a positive expectation for their future. That, my friend, when you can get to that place, it's not fake. You're not faking anything. That's when you can start changing this world for the better. But you get there by reading the proper books, listening to audios, watching videos that are positive, turning off all the negative influences. I will give you one resource that could help you a lot. I would recommend going out, if you don't have one, and buying a book called the Bible. I mentioned guys like James Clear, Tony Robbins, BJ Fogg, and Napoleon Hill earlier. Their ideas are wonderful, and I use that type of material in my day-to-day dealings with situations. But did you know that all personal development material we need was originally given to us by God? God's word has everything we need to help us with real, true insights into what to do when we're feeling bad, how to deal with relationship issues, how to deal well in business situations, how to deal with depression and anxiety, how to lift ourselves up out of so called negative situations, how to move yourself up this emotional scale that I talked about. I encourage you to try digging into that material as well as more, modern day personal development authors. Again, my prayer today is that my ideas here help you in a real meaningful way. And if you have picked up something valuable here, would you take a moment and demolish that like button? It does help me get this message out to people I wouldn't get it to without your help. And I would be honored if you subscribed to my channel. Again, helping me reach others with this message while making sure you're the first to know when I put new content up here on the channel. And if you'd like to explore other ways I can help you, take a look at this video's description for the attraction marketing formula. If you're a network marketer, if you're working in affiliate marketing business and you want to learn how to start one, take a look at our 15-day challenge there in the description. And if you're either of those, along with being a high ticket coach, look at my done for you content services, as they will speed up your results with either my business audit and or content roadmap. And I'll see you in my next memo with more exploration into the skills that will drive more leads and sales for your business.